Welcome to another edition of the sessions. This evening we are joined by a father and son special. So we call it a generational episode where Simon, Andrew are going to be with us and we're going to be discussing all things mentorship, but really taking a trip down memory lane in terms of their experiences at Michael House and what their thought processes are and journeys towards mentorship. And so, welcome, guys. Simon, Andrew.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Thanks for having us.
Cool. So, Simon, let's start with you. Tell us a bit about yourself and how far back does your Michael House career go back?
I'm not sure many viewers will remember that far. I joined Michael House in 81 and finished in 85.
Okay.
That's 1981, just to be clear. It's for 5 years. I came in an E-block, which I know is very common nowadays, but in those days it was very unusual. Most people came actually in D-block.
Okay.
And there was also a sixth form, which I didn't stay for.
Okay.
Well, I was asked.
Did you go to the army after? Or
No, so I was very fortunate. Well, I'm actually diabetic, so I got that in my first year at Michael, which is one of the things that actually not defined, but it actually was a factor at school.
Yeah.
The guys will remember that I did that SAN, injections and all that sort of stuff. Okay. But the one positive that came out of that was that I couldn't do it.
Okay.
So I went straight to university. To UCT.
Okay. I was also at UCT.
Yeah.
Were you addressed?
I was in Smuts.
I was also in
Ah, excellent.
probably the clever guys in Smuts.
I obviously made some mistakes.
Okay. And what did you study at UCT?
So I did business science, like finance.
I also did business science.
Okay. Just a slight
Postgrad accounting?
I did accounting, and then I actually went across to the UK. I joined Pricewaterhouse.
Oh,
English.
yeah. Okay. Awesome. But I mean, how was Michael House like back in those days, in the early 80s? Let's take us through some of your experiences. You were, I'm assuming, 12 years old?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure. It's a tough thing. Yeah.
In those days, I do think it was a lot tougher than it is now. It's not necessarily a good thing, but also not necessarily a bad thing. So I generally look back on my time very fondly.
Okay.
And for sure, it was the making of me. I was to be honest, and Andrew fondly jibes me about it. I was quite a nerdy guy, so I wasn't a great sportsman.
Yeah.
I think I might have managed to pull against the first team tennis, but otherwise that was it. So I was very much an academic. Yeah. But I also did the immense amount of things.
Yeah.
With the old cliche, lots of opportunities, but I really did try and take advantage of as many opportunities as I could.
Okay.
Going up the Berg. I was in the early days of the Computer Society. We had this Apple II Plus, which was the very first computer that almost came to the school. There's a tiny little room up in the bio labs, with no windows. And there was this Apple II Plus. And it had extra memory, so it had 48K.
48K.
These guys will not believe.
And do you know what 48K means?
I think it's like consent, maybe like half the WhatsApp.
Yeah, that's like 48 kilobytes.
Yes, that was the extent of the memory.
Yeah.
But from that, I even did woodwork and made leather belts.
Yeah.
Things like that. So it's a wide variety of activities, and that for me was what made my class experience.
Okay. And any key highlights you'd like to mention? Maybe like interesting stories.
There was one story. So for my sins, I was a library monitor.
Okay.
I'm not sure you have library monitors anymore, but the real nerdy guy. Looked after.
You don't look very nerdy.
Thank you. I don't think it's actually ever goes into the library.
We're in the library. Size 2.
That gets to be something.
Is there a library monitor?
No.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
No, you have to book rooms like online. Don't use it.
So the library ones is the one perk they had. It's common. You went down to the junior library, and then there's a stairway that was this little common where the night
Was it on you where Rex's office?
Yes. Yeah. It was a downstairs bed. I don't know what that is now, but that was the junior.
That was
senior ladies. Yeah.
Isn't it Sky's? Where the school prefects have tea?
There's
Could be.
nothing.
Oh,
Yeah.
So, and in those days we had free bounds. So that was a requirement on Sunday you had to leave that.
yes. Yeah. We still have it now,
In a different form. It went for a long time, especially with COVID. But now, I mean, obviously, with safety issues, you can't make boys not be on property.
Yeah.
So I think the E, D, and C blockers,
Okay.
they, for a certain period on Sunday, aren't allowed in the houses. So they have to
Oh.
be in the house.
So one Sunday, my good mate Will Hardy, he was in my year, but he was a library one. He was much cooler. We decided that we would bump rebounds hard in library ones. Yeah, that looked really cool. We could chill our coffee and our rusks and wait for them all to come back and then we went out. The only problem was that halfway through the afternoon, Will badly needed to pee. Hung on and hung on and hung on, but eventually he was desperate. Okay, what are we going to do? We venture out of this room. We're going to be so close. So we eventually ferreted around one of the bins. We found a Coke bottle where he duly relieved himself, and we managed to hang on for the rest of the afternoon without being caught.
Yeah. And what's been the highlights of your class experience?
That's a very tough question because I mean, like, there's so many. I think
Yeah.
everything in general is very, I'll remember it forever.
Yeah.
And it's not, but with like the things that stand out to me are not like the sports things or that kind of stuff. On my 6th team unbeaten rugby season, that's going to be a highlight for it. But like it's more like
the library munching.
I think it's more like the subtle things,
Yeah.
the stuff that makes us unique, the touch in the afternoons, the night runs, like staying up with your mates and chatting for hours and hours. That kind of stuff is, I think, what I remember most. Also, like a large part of it for me is like the walk rides, watching first team, everything like that. There's like surreal feeling, like when my class scores a try, and the whole school like lights up with energy. It's crazy, and I'll definitely never forget that.
You play first team?
No. Unfortunately, I didn't take off the mic.
So you don't play first team when you're not a nerd. So you kind of
Yeah. No, I love sports. My favorite thing is not
Yeah.
good. It's just
Right.
like,
What sports do you play?
I play water polo, rugby, and then soccer in third term.
Okay.
And then throughout my class, I played squash, tennis, and golf, and obviously with paddle.
Okay.
It's like everyone has paddle.
It sounds like every sport.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
I played hockey and knee-box.
When did Andrew come? In
2019.
2019.
Yeah.
And his little brother, Peter, who came in 2018.
Oh,
Before.
you started 2019.
Yeah, well, I started 2019, he started 2018.
Okay. And what was it like starting in 2019, coming into COVID?
Yeah.
How was that experience?
I think the school is a very different place in
Yeah.
2019 than it is now. I think COVID changed that quite a bit, but also, I mean, that's a nice excuse.
Yeah.
Obviously, a few other factors. 2019, it was more like, it was like much harder as it was back in the day. And I don't know, I obviously there's tough times in EBOC coming into a new environment and you're not familiar with things and like the routines and anything like that. You sat with a bunch of random people you never met in your life. So there's obviously some tough aspects, but like you grow immense amounts. Like in 2019, like I think I'm mature 10 years. What's it? But yeah, with the hit of COVID in 2020, I think we had done one term in T-Block.
Yeah.
And like during COVID, obviously we sat at home for so long. I've never been so keen to come back to school. Like after that, and I think from then on, well, for me personally, my class career was so different. Like I loved it after that. And I was like excited to come back to school. I couldn't wait for lockdown to end. But yeah, I think it changed quite a bit. The boys really wanted things to be the same. Obviously, with regulations, the CAC duties in some houses were put on pause, like to the teacher's knowledge. And then, other things just couldn't happen, inter-school sport, all that kind of stuff. But for the most part, the school spirit was still there. I mean, there was many inter-house events, that kind of stuff. And obviously, slowly that weaned out, and we have a bit more normality now. So, yeah, I don't know, it's interesting times.
Yeah, no, I can imagine. So Simon, you've got 2 boys.
Yeah.
Any other kids?
Yeah, one daughter, she's 6 and she's in grade 10.
Oh, okay. So boy, girl. Okay. And what's your relationship like with your boys in particular? I don't know if you've ever.
I quite like Peter.
Yeah.
It's quite obvious.
No, I think we have well, I like to think we have a great relationship. When you're talking about mentoring, I try and be a mentor to them.
Yeah.
Although it's a little bit of listen to what I say rather than but no, we're very tight. So actually, Andrew and I have just taken on a project together, which is we bought this old Porsche 940 Turbo. Okay, messed up the whole thing.
94.
924.
924.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, kind of
What year?
911, so 1980.
Oh, nice.
Even predates me.
Yeah.
My wife was good. And the plan is that we're going to do it up, we're going to turn it into a safari type vehicle and then go on some sort of safari trip.
Okay. So did you buy it like at an auction or you bought it?
I actually bought it down in Maxford, advertised on Facebook.
Oh,
It's very cheap. And
Yeah.
I actually think it's quite a win. It's like a barn farm.
okay.
It's lots to do. It's going to be
Yeah.
painted and engine done and lots of stuff.
Are you guys both car people? Or-
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I love cars as well. I don't know anything about like engine and stuff yet. Well,
I've got to do.
but
So
yeah.
his first car is a Porsche.
Yes, thank you.
Keeps angling for that. That's just got his driver's license.
Yeah.
My first car was a bicycle.
Probably a lot safer.
Yeah. Well, okay. So you both car fanatics. Have you always been car fanatics or?
Yeah. Well, I sort of seen from him. He's always been into cars. I don't know. I'm sure you can say more about that. But like ever since we've grown up, he's always watched Formula One.
Yeah.
He's collected kind of classic cars and stuff, always been around us. So I think that's.
Do you have like the small miniature plastic cars as well?
Yeah, but a few of those. Not a great collection.
Yeah.
Some of that's unbelievable collections.
Yeah.
But I prefer the real thing. So,
Yeah.
always loved them and been through many during my time. Like hunting them down, buying them, fixing them up, trying to improve them.
Yeah.
Financial pressures normally need to get the next time to sell the other one.
Yeah. So what do you have in common out of interest between the two? Outside of cars? Anything else?
I think our humor's quite similar.
Okay.
I think in some ways we think the same, like around problems.
Yeah.
Are
you also finance
Yeah,
aspiration?
yeah. Well, I honestly have no idea what I want to do, so I guess that's
I don't know now.
the route to take if you're not set on engineering or something like that. Then
Yeah.
I guess you go on that road.
Yeah.
But yeah, that sort of way.
There are some differences. Though. So he's got a fashion sense, I don't.
We can solve.
And I like reading and poetry, and he doesn't.
Yeah. Okay, but I mean, it's not
we educate each other.
yeah.
Educate each other about this.
It's not a bad thing to have differences.
Yeah.
And what's your relationship actually with your other 2 kids? So with the elder and with the younger. Is it significantly different? Is it similar?
That's a great question. I think it's fairly similar.
Mhm.
So Peter being the older, everything happens to him first, which I think is both the curse and the privilege.
Yeah.
First
I'm
one.
the elder.
Yeah.
I know what that's
So
like.
you get all the anxiety, you get all the attention. So he's just started university in Germany, and the whole process of going overseas and applications and what a huge stress. But we now learned a lot. So I think when Andy does it, it's going to be very straightforward. Certainly from knowing what to do, and then if Victoria does it, what it was from.
Are you going overseas?
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, I'm definitely going overseas next year I'll do some work in London, hopefully.
Okay.
I'm gonna go do this diving thing, a volunteering thing in Thailand.
Oh, wow.
Fixing the corals. I'm not too sure about it. I haven't been focused on my finals, but I haven't been doing too much research into next year.
Yeah.
But then hopefully just then study somewhere in the UK or somewhere else, depending on what pops up. I'll be from also. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
No, that's great. And I mean, how much of an influence has your dad been, just generally in life?
Yeah, definitely a massive influence. I mean, the biggest, I mean, my mom, obviously. And even this year, with my position and everything, they've been so helpful, and I've always got people to turn to if I need guidance or help or speech to be written. Then like I've always got
That
that.
doesn't he write your speech?
No, it doesn't write. Guidance and helps.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I
definitely.
just ask them the question. So, who's the audience?
Yeah.
What's your objective?
Yeah.
What examples can you give to
Yeah.
Yeah.
that objective?
Like, what's been the biggest lesson that you've learned from your dad? Like, if there's one thing you can take out.
That's a very good question, and a very
Yeah.
deep question as well.
Yeah.
How much address?
Something along those lines. No,
Yeah.
I think it's just you got to prioritize what's important to you in life, I guess. I think I feel like for you, family is very important, and you that's like emulated, you know, in his family time, we like to be together now since Peter's gone, and you know, everyone has different things going on. You know, to get family time is quite hard, and I think that I don't know. It's if you get your priorities straight. It's you know sort of the best. Yeah.
And if I, Simon, if I throw that question back to you, what have you learned from Andrew?
So I would say, yeah, no crisis. I'll probably back around. So I'm a sort of analytical guy. So I like to have plenty of time to think about something, to work it out, to think of the options, and then hopefully eventually take action. Probably not what I never do, but that's my sort of brand. Whereas Andrew is incredibly calm at crisis, and straight away to see what the issues are and what we need to do, and we get something done. He's got a great sort of manner and leadership style about it. So I've sort of learned from that because I sort of wasn't like that in school, certainly, and probably still aren't.
Yeah.
So, you know, I look at how he handles the situation. Wow, that's something I can take away.
I mean, have you seen him grow in his? I mean, I know it sort of was interrupted at the beginning, but how have you seen his growth and development throughout his time at Night Class?
Amazing.
Yeah.
So, funnily enough, we were just looking back at the old yearbooks. He went to Clifton Notties, and at the end of the year, they had this yearbook where they had a little sign saying what they would be.
Yeah.
And everybody put astronaut, policeman, ranger, whatever, and he put leader.
Wow.
I didn't take any notice of it at that stage. So,
Was it a random?
That's terrible.
Yeah. Was it random? What made you?
I have no idea. I honestly can't remember. I'm glad I can't remember. But
I thought it must have been a design, maybe that he didn't even articulate, but it just came up. And then he arrived here as a short, sort of chubby guy.
Yeah. Were you chubby?
I was
Still short, but not quite so chubby.
Yeah.
Yes, they have grown, you know, enormously over that period. And obviously, this year has been a tough one. All senior prefects, and I think that's developed him more to cope with these sort of challenges, balancing his work, keeping his mates still on his side.
Yeah. And have you found like, you know, you mutually mentor each other in a way? Do you have that kind of relationship?
yeah. Well, I think I've just been mentored by him. I mean, he's saying that there's he's learned some stuff from me, so I guess that means I've mentored you as well. But yeah, and I think inevitably as a father, you're always going to mentor your son, whether it's or you're going to influence him, whether it's positive or negative. But there'll always be, you know, something you learn. For me, it's an abundance of things, obviously. But definitely from my side, I can mentor. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think the mentoring relationship is probably more sort of older to younger. I think, although it doesn't have to exclusively be that. So probably in our relationship, the mentoring is probably more than me. But as we discussed earlier, certainly lots of learn. Certainly that's smart from him how he's handled things.
And I mean, looking back to say the last 18, right?
Yeah.
18. Over the last 18 years, how have you seen
and transforming into becoming who he is today? Like even before he had kids, was it sort of part of family planning? I'm assuming so. And I'm hoping so. And how did you plan sort of the first 18 years of their lives? Were there like specific milestones that you wanted them to achieve, or kind of went with the flow?
I'd like to say it was all organized.
Yeah.
You look like a very organized.
Yeah. So, but we obviously wanted them to succeed
Yeah.
in whatever shape that would be. And it turned out actually, I think they have done. So we've been fortunate with that. But I do think their schooling, so they were Britain and Joe at first. That sort of set the foundation. But
Yeah.
wasn't much that we could see at that stage. They were just ordinary kids doing their thing. And they came to Clifton Notties, which I'm a passionate believer in.
So Peter and
Rita and he had 2 years there, and he had 3 in Victoria.
okay. But Victoria must have been at Kingsman.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think we.
Oh,
Shame. We applied to both the Ridge and Federal, and then
Just pick the ridge.
yeah.
And then the opportunity came here.
yeah,
I see.
2032.
It's crazy. It's a long time.
Yeah.
It's,
Okay, so I think that the Clifton experience really transformed them, and they became more outgoing. And I remember Peter used to rush out of break time for fishing. At school, you get to do that.
yeah.
I think it's still become more professional, but it still retains that feeling of being outdoors.
Yeah.
It's all about the kids having fun. And I think that's a great foundation.
Yeah.
And then my class has done wonders.
Yeah.
Can't speak highly enough of what it's done for both boys.
Did you know you wanted to send them to Britain, Clifton, and my clubs?
No, to my class, I knew that.
Of course.
It's non-negotiable.
Yeah.
No, we lived in Melrose, so Britain was obviously, I think they walked to school. So they walked to school. Again, so
I very.
Mm.
It's nice and close.
Yeah, that was good. So I think that was the basis for the choice. And then coming down to Clifton was more of a choice. We decided that we wanted to change. It wasn't really about being close to my class, by that time it's stepped down. And I said, it's fantastic. We almost haven't missed any function, any sports match, any jazz performance. So we've been very lucky in that respect.
Yeah.
Coming to the Midlands was more just get up to class.
Yeah. And so you say, unlike a lot of parents that live outside of the Midlands area, you've been able to support Andrew in person in terms of having some sports games. I mean, do you feel like that's had a lot of positive impact for yourself?
Yeah, definitely. No, it's nice to know that you're friends there if you need them more.
Yeah.
But it's nice to see them on a Saturday when you're playing a sport.
Yeah.
I think there's positives and negatives for both. Like if obviously your parents doesn't see you the whole week and they want to see you. And then also, but you also want to be with your mates for a bit, something.
Yeah.
So there's a bit of an obligated feeling, but I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It definitely is more positives than negatives.
Yeah.
So it's been nice. It's very nice to see them, score a try and be on the sideline. So it's cool to see.
Your dad's the biggest cheerleader. But he doesn't fight with the coaches.
No, I don't even know enough about it.
That could be dangerous.
Yeah. No, you're very lucky because my parents didn't stay close by. Only in one Durban, but then. So they were working parents at the time, so I used to take the bus up and down. But equally, so it was great to see them when they were working. Yeah.
So you definitely know it's as long as me. The parents came down pretty little. Nothing like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, one of the things is that we, you asked me about my memory. One of the things that I loved about school was the weekends.
Yeah.
That's the time that you're with your mates. So you get to on the Saturday. We actually had to school in the morning.
Yeah, so we also had Sunday school.
And
Yeah.
then you played the sport, and then you chilled, and there was generally a movie or something on back in the week.
Yeah.
There was reels in those days.
Oh, really?
So you had to wait for a change of reel, or which reel would burn, and you'd see the blob, and the screen would die, and it would be going. Or we'd watch a play. So we've got lots of really good stuff that came through. All the NAPAC stuff came through for the girls to watch it. And then Sunday, you sort of chilled and went to rebound and whatever. So for me, I think the weekends were almost the best bit. And I'm a little bit sad that now I think it's got a bit loose that there's too much going out. I know that the mums in particular like it, but I'm not sure it's a good thing. That's where you get the bonding. That's where you. During the week you're busy and everybody's doing exactly. It's during the weekends.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think my class is boarding school, and it's become boarding. Well, things end and then we come back. But I also agree that those weekends and the times you spend together when there's no other option but to be together, it's those are the best times for sure. And especially as like a junior or like senior, it's perfect. If you've got all your best mates around you, the workload isn't bad at all, and you guys just chill. There's always sport. There's tons of stuff to do, and with now, because my class is so busy now, there's just a million things going on all the time. You can play like every sport in the world on the campus. So, it's nice. I definitely agree that it's nice. I think it would be beneficial for my class to become more boarding again. Obviously, it is for boarding, but like, you understand what I'm saying? With the just, less leaves potentially or less involvement with parents on weekends.
So you're staying with your dad once in
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think
I think it's one of the unique things about my school boy was boarding. It's one of my unique things that develops skills and friendship. That's retain it.
And so do you come every weekend to the school or only?
So it's something like during rugby season we did come and support. So Peter played in the fifth, so played in the sixth, and we came and watched pretty much every match. That's why they've both been beaten. Take all the credit. So I'm not quite sure what we're going to do now. Now we have to adopt. We're going to have to adopt. Under 14 come and watch. Just to have some reason to come.
You can go to Victoria though, right?
Yeah,
that's an ad.
So that's an ad. So they don't do activities on the weekends. So she comes home.
Oh, really? They're not play sports on the weekends.
I don't seem to play it during the week.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Did she have boarded or full?
The week's
Oh,
okay.
So back to you, Andrew. What after London, where do you see yourself going for?
Well, to be honest with you, I have no clear path whatsoever. But, I went to study in the UK. Taking back to Andrews, either elsewhere in the UK, like Durham or Exeter, or other places in Europe. Like my brother's at Technical University of Munich, so potentially I go down there. But I think that's a lot more academic, and I'm not sure if I'm looking for that. Anyway, I haven't explored the options with much research yet. I need to do that, but now my immediate focus is on exams, so I need to. But after that, I'm not sure at all. I'm quite a go with the flow kind of person. I'm not too stressed about it. I'm sure something will happen.
It's always barging.
Exactly. Can't go wrong. Exactly. Was there? I want to go back to your time at my class. Was there anyone specifically that you looked up to when you first came here? Was there like someone older?
Obviously, my cop was very influential. I was very fortunate to have a nice cop. I think now it's a bit more common than it was back then. The cop CAC system's developed so much, and this year it's like a lot more focus has been placed on the relationship between the cop and the CAC. So I think nowadays it's like most
cops are good people to go cats.
Yeah.
But I was very fortunate back then. My cop was a really nice person. I definitely looked up to him, and he guided me and helped me. But also having an older brother at the same time is also incredibly beneficial. And even also in Matric, the close family friends of ours, he's in Matric, and coming from Clifton, literally everyone comes to my class.
Yeah.
So there's lots of people older than me that I knew. So yeah, most definitely had quite a few role models and stuff. My brother was a great help, and my cop obviously. Yeah.
Tell me about the relationship with your brother, actually. You must have fought it.
Yeah, back in the day it was terrible.
Yeah.
It was really bad.
Who's bigger?
Yeah.
To the two of you? Him.
Yeah.
Okay, so he won.
I don't think, no matter how big I get, I'll never win a fight against your older brother. It just doesn't
Yeah.
work like that.
Yeah.
There's something like in that bond that's just, I don't know. But yeah, back in the Pridman days when we were young kids, we would fight a lot, like physical fights.
Yeah.
We'd get very dirty.
You'd fly at Britain.
No, not at the
At
school,
school.
I don't think. I hope. But like, just those kind of years, and even in Clifton, and yeah, less so when he came to my class, and ever since then we just fought less and less and less, which is nice. We have a good relationship, yeah, very good, and he's very supportive and helping, and he's very clever as well. So like with academics and stuff, he's always very helpful person to turn to.
Is he very different from you? Like, did he play sport or more academic?
I think we're quite similar in that regard. So we've always both been like very mediocre at sport. I think I'm a bit more interested in it. So I love sport. It's like my favorite thing ever. All kinds of everything. As I said, I'm not that gifted at it at all. To no fault of my own, but what's it? He's a lot more like my dad in terms of maybe not the English side, but like robotics and like the mechanics of things. He's very into that, but we're very similar in terms of I think same humor, same. We both played music since a young age. He played the trumpet, I played the saxophone.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we took similar subjects. We are quite similar, yeah, and because we've been so close in age, like it's just a year, then it's we have like a good bond, and I think we are quite similar in that regard. Obviously differ on that bit, and he's a bit more academic than I am. Just a bit.
Little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. One more A. Two.
Same age, just a couple percentage higher.
Yeah. Okay. And what's your relationship like with Peter? Is it quite similar to Andrew, or is it slightly different?
I think it's quite similar.
Yeah.
And I've tried to play the same role with him. He's a bit more, what's the polite term, more OCD. So he's very methodical and rigorous and works incredibly hard. I didn't. I think Andrew does, but slightly less so. So for him, encouraging him to work and whatever was never a problem. He would do that himself. But it's more guiding him in the right sort of direction, making sure he doesn't waste time and calming him down, that sort of stuff. But yeah, so we share, although I'm doing the car with Andrew, we're both more mechanical, more practical. I think Andrew's much better debating and speaking and engaging with people.
So what do you like doing with your sons the most?
I think probably around the cars. So we all love watching Formula One together.
Yeah. Have you been to
car
Formula One
shows?
globally?
So I've been to Spa, I've been to Le Mans.
Okay.
I'm ready to go again next year. But I'm going to use the excuse of them being overseas to try and slot a few more in.
Yeah.
But they're legitimately difficult to get to and very expensive and really quick. Yeah, it's fun to go. Although actually, in actual fact, you get a much better view of what's going on TV, to be totally honest. But it's lovely to be there and to get
very, very noisy. Yeah.
So I went to Le Mans, my wife took me for my 50th.
Oh, wow.
As a surprise.
That's
That
amazing.
was awesome. But for 24 hours, and she went demented because there was so much noise. And we stayed in the middle of the track
For 24 hours.
24 hours.
Wow.
Just this incredible noise going around.
Did you sleep at all?
A little bit, a few hours.
Yeah.
But watching it at night is well fun.
Yeah.
Highlights.
Okay. So, Andrew, as a senior prefect, is there a lot of expectation from you, sort of, by design, your role model,
to the rest of the school, was there anyone that you took under your wings, almost as a paid forward, given that your cop was equally a role model to you? Is there anyone that you are a role model for?
For your first question, I definitely think there's expectation. I mean,
Yeah,
you'd hope that your senior prefect is embodying what you want a my class boy to be.
yeah,
So yeah, undoubtedly there's expectation there. But I mean, coming into it, I'd hope that I've been selected based like my personality is
Yeah.
like that.
yeah.
And or having CACs of my own, I've definitely tried my
Do you
best.
have cats?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I got two
From-
CACs from Farfield. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so they do like a commute every morning to my home.
For guys.
That's just fine. They work hard, but they get rewarded, so it's all good.
Is there still, where's your room? Is there still between East and Tatum?
Yeah,
At the top?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think I definitely taken them under my wing. I don't know, I haven't been trying to, pay it forward necessarily with that intent. Maybe that rubs off, I'm not sure. But yeah, them, I've got a god brother who's very academic and sporty. He's a very successful boy. He's also in
He's
Eva.
young.
He's in East and Eva.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I also looked out for him, I guess.
Yeah.
But no intention of paying it forward, I guess. Yeah. And there's some younger, I don't know, some of the guys in leadership next year I'm good friends with, so.
We do often have questions. I'm not sure if there's any, sure if you could help me actually often make, because when I do this digitally, I can see this question on the screen.
So there's one, what story about school does your dad tell the most? To Andy.
Sure. I think you talked quite a lot of the train rides, Joe. You still do that? Is that am I making that up?
Yeah, I think making that up.
Okay.
Yeah, bus rides.
Yeah.
Sure. I've never heard the one about Will Hardy, you guys.
It's suddenly surfaced in my brain.
This is a very hard question. I don't know.
Don't talk about
Does
bus.
he ever say back in my days?
No.
Okay.
I don't know. Actually, that's the problem.
Yeah.
It's not reliving the glory days.
Okay. Do you ever like compare the kind of generations of between the 80s and the 2020s?
I think not.
Like, do you speak about that?
Yeah, no, definitely. I'll say
Yes,
something that's going on or something,
Yeah.
and then he'll be like, "Oh, back in my day,
Yeah. Yeah.
this would have happened or that would have happened."
Yeah.
I think we've spoken about. He tells me a lot about like the going away trips.
Yeah.
Leaving the campus, going to doing Cezanne, going to Berg, as you said. Like those traditions, the very healthy traditions that need to stay in the school. Those kind of things we've talked about a lot, and sort of how they developed as well. Yeah, it would more be like me saying this and be like, oh yeah, we did this, this, and this. Yeah.
I think there's a lot more intention now, which is a great thing.
Yeah.
I sort of get the sense, although maybe it's just my 18-year-old memory, that we tried things, we ran around, we did things, but there was very little intention. So you asked me, did I mentor anybody or was I mentored? I don't think I was. We didn't really understand that concept. So I think it's great that now it's become an intentional thing. The COP system is very intentional, and I think it's very successful, and it's definitely stay. The youngest boy has access to the oldest boy, which you never normally have. I mean, you don't walk into a company and suddenly chat to the CEO. It just doesn't happen. And then similarly for the older boy, he's responsible for the happiness of the young boy. So when I have a cop that did my duties for him,
and that's it.
and that's it.
Just transactional.
Just transactional.
Yeah.
I know some guys have different things, but I think it was by accident. It wasn't good. Because I think now, if they has a bad experience, it's almost the cop's fault. Somehow they've got to be on the hook for it.
I wouldn't say it's the cop's fault.
Not a fault, but
Yeah.
it's his responsibility
Responsibility,
to make sure that he does whatever he can.
Yeah, exactly. Well, to help him if he's having a bad time,
there to provide support and like maybe alleviate whatever is going on. I mean, sometimes there's not much you can do. So I think, yeah, I think I agree with you saying there's more responsibility on the cop. But yeah. So I just didn't like the choice of words there. Sorry.
But I like the fact that the traditional is there, but it's just transformed
Yeah.
into being something that's a lot more intentional, as you said.
Yeah.
So it's kind of there still, the values are there,
Yeah.
the understanding that it's relevant, it's important, but it's just been improved. over
Yeah,
time.
I think that's a great point.
Yeah.
And I think it's the traditions, that's an important thing about traditions.
Yeah,
They've got to have a point, they've got to be an underlying purpose,
yeah.
but they can evolve.
Yes.
So I think a good example is the war cry and the war cries.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we did war cries and we did
Yes.
similar ones,
Yeah,
although we said them slightly differently.
yeah, yeah,
But that was it.
yeah.
The purpose of it was
Yeah.
to get the fears, get the spirit, and it worked, it was successful. So now they still do that, but they're just so much better. And they've evolved with spelling
Yes.
and all that sort of stuff. So
Yeah,
it's
drums
and
yeah.
music and whatever.
Yeah.
So it's
The whole experience.
the whole experience.
The
It's
whole
it's
school
different
is part
level.
of it.
The whole school's part of it.
Yeah.
And I think, I think rugby is very important to that perspective actually, even as a sort of non-sports guy, more
Yeah.
academic guy.
Yeah.
I think rugby plays just a crucial role
Yeah.
in building that spirit.
Yeah.
And all prize are
They're incredible.
key component.
Yeah. Any questions from the floor, from the audience?
What about the far-field mates?
Yeah, sure, you've got a question, maybe to kick us off?
So, Andrew, you
Oh,
lead-
sorry, just introduce yourself. Another guy's on
Sorry, Sean. End of this year, in a couple of weeks, in a week, you leave the bubble and go into the big wide world. You don't know what you don't know. And so, what would, in your mind now, good look like in terms of those around you helping you understand where to go next? The question's in the context of mentoring. You're not really going to understand what that really means now. You've probably inadvertently been doing it up until now, in some cases maybe deliberately, but now as you go from being in the relationship of the mentor to the mentee, to that being inverted, what does good look like for you?
That's a good question. So I think it's I'm lucky. I know I've got lots of people around me, or people that have been through leaving my class and going on to their chapter that can like guide me. I'm very open to like learning. I don't really think I know much at all. So even like this year, I've been mentored a lot by Rex and Mr. Money, Mr. Gittins. I've had lots of people giving me guidance, even though I'm also giving my CAC's guidance. So I think good would look like, just having all those people giving me their opinions, I guess, looking out for me and being actually interested in what I'm doing, I guess, and the path I'm taking in life. So, and I cross my fingers. I'm sure that will happen. I know a lot of very nice people that I think will do that for me.
So the important thing is that you have to go and find it now. It's not going to come from
Yeah.
you. And that is that you've been lucky in this environment because you have people around here who have a stated aim to mentor you and give you advice. You're now going into a world where you are going to have to seek it out now. And so understanding that and looking for those mentors who will be there for chapters in your life, I think will be the thing that will help you find out what you don't know.
I do think it's fantastic what the Old Boys Club and Sean is Sean Lumley, who's been responsible for
Everyone
playing
knows
place.
Yeah?
I think it's fantastic because again, to go back to the old days, there was none of that. We left and just vanished into whatever we did, and there was no
Just got your time.
correct.
Off you went. Yeah.
Whereas now, as I said, it's a lot more intentional, but obviously we've now got technology, which
Yeah.
means you can stay in contact and you can get access to those mentors and those people, stay in touch. which I think is awesome. It makes the whole thing so much easier. And we just pitched up 20 years later our first boarding instead of
Yeah. I mean, is there anyone else that you're mentoring at the moment? Is there like some sort of relationship you have with anyone?
So it's not actually with young people, but I do, in part of my job actually, I have clients that I do coach and mentor.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so often people in family businesses who, the patriarch or the matriarch, runs the show or is getting on a bit, and the younger guys are coming through and are floundering a bit because they've just been put in that place because they're part of the family, but they need to learn how to take over and when to take over and how it's going to look. All the wealth is tied up in the trust somewhere which they don't have access to. Yeah, so quite a lot of that. I've also got an educational one that I'm looking after.
No, that's amazing.
So I think it's about understanding people's different interests and characteristics.
Yeah.
So they're not necessarily the same as yours. And something you might really battle with, they might not, and something vice versa. So it's really finding what it is that they are battling with and trying to help them think through it. And it's not providing answers, I don't think. It's just answering the right questions so they can think it through themselves.
No, that's not brilliant. Another question?
I was going to ask you about the mentoring program, but Andrew, you've got 7 nights left at Mountain House. What do you still need to do? What do you still want to do? And what's on that list?
Sure, there's a lot. I was even saying earlier today, there's a lot on that list. We need to do another night run, 100%.
Are those allowed?
No.
Just announced on TV.
Take my chances, I've got too good at it now.
Yeah.
Maybe some of like the old traditions that we used to do back in Eva, could you only do in grade 8 and 9. Like go to the hydro, maybe, go to the dam, all that kind of stuff that you don't get to do anywhere else. And with your mates, spend time with the guys that like mean the most to you. So I'd want to do that. Unfortunately, I've got a couple of exams in the way that.
Unfortunately. What exams are still left?
I've still got 4. I've got history tomorrow. I've got 2 music papers on Tuesday and English paper 2 on Thursday. All these guys have 1. So yeah. But yeah, I hope to get to do all that kind of stuff before I go. I want to do some more stuff with my CACs as well. But everything just.
Are your CACs here?
No, not yet. Unfortunately, yeah.
Thank you, Geraldine Fleming. Andrew, also for you, when was the moment that it struck you that your time at Michael House was running out? And how did it change your outlook, if it did?
Well, to be honest, Geraldine, it kind of hasn't struck me yet. Like I think it hasn't sunk in at all. But there was a time earlier this year. I think it's when I got back from holiday, beginning of 3rd term. It was more like about a senior prefect thing. I was like, there's so much I want to do, and I've got no time right now. With trials and then finals, and then I didn't necessarily feel like I had wasted my time. I know there's always lots of stuff going on, but just with the certain stuff, the extra stuff that I'd planned to do this year, or ideas I'd come up with, was like, whoa, my time is very nearly up. But it definitely hasn't sunk into me yet that we're leaving. Yeah.
Looks like you're gonna cry.
No.
So Andrew, do you have any advice for anyone who wants to aspire to be a happier role as that way?
Well, for me it was a bit different. I didn't seek out to become senior prefect. I think the system we're in does quite well in those, like, the people that are selected aren't necessarily, seeking it. But I think if you strive to like embody the characteristics, of our core values, and you know what a good Michael's boy needs to be like, then I think that's the way, I guess. But yeah, I think it's I feel like the job finds you. You don't necessarily find the job. If that's one way to put it.
probably something that you can't try too hard.
No. They used to call it in my days pushing for
Yeah,
prefect.
it's so obvious. It's
Yeah,
crazy
you can
as
get,
well.
I think you can get away with being a house prefect maybe through PFP, but
Yeah,
generally the school gets the senior prefect right.
yeah,
And it's always based on those principles and the core values of my class.
yeah.
I think about my own senior prefect, who we were talking about earlier. It's very similar. It's just core values all about living my class principles, my class way. It's very, very similar. Senior prefect, when I was head of house, Scott Jocelyn, also very, very similar. So it's just, my class has it very consistent.
Yeah. Yeah, it almost doesn't matter, it's great, whether you're a big sportsman, I mean, often it is a big sportsman, but not necessarily.
No.
I think that's just a bit of like being known.
Yeah.
Like you'll be known through your sport. I was obviously known for being 16 rugby captain, you know, like that's in my known. No, I'm joking, but like it's the channel through which you know it. I don't know how I was known, but I think that's the reason why it tends to be lots of sports.
Yeah, often it's rugby, 13 rugby, because everybody watches it.
Yes. Yeah. But it's not a popularity.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Any other questions? Final thoughts before we close? Right. Back to father-son, guys. Thank you so much. It's been a great pleasure chatting to you guys. Any final words of wisdom before we close?
Well, thanks so much for having us.
Yeah.
And I really would like to commend the recent Old Boy team. I was alluding to it earlier, but the amount of work they've put into making the journey into Old Boydom as accessible and available and connected is fantastic. And that's something we definitely didn't have in our day, back in the day. Obviously there were technology limitations and what have you, but I think the team has really embraced those technological opportunities and is pushing hard. Loving the sort of mentoring going forward, I think it's fantastic. So, yeah, that's great, well done.
Mr. Sean Lovely will come here in a second, but thanks to him, he's been mentoring us and leading from the front. So, good. Thanks, sir. Final thoughts, Andrew?
Yeah, not much here, so
Without
just,
crying too much.
no.
7 nights.
I'll save it till after history.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you so much for having us on here,
Yeah.
for this opportunity. And yeah, again to say what he's saying is yeah, I think I'm very excited for next year, and I know that now the My Class community is so tight knit, and it's something so unique, and you never leave it. And I look forward to that.
No, great. I think, my final thoughts, having a father, being a son, and having sons. So I've got 2 young boys. So I can relate to generational constructs, and just seeing the 2 of you on this session has been fantastic. I can see the complementary factors, both respect to one another. Your dad has been a real big influence. You're very proud of your son, and having a father actually means a lot, as is. I saw an advert once or a picture that says, if you look at your phone and someone's calling and it says mom or dad, you should take that very seriously and take the call, because not many people have mom or dad. And quite often the mom or dad call me like, my base, like, just calm down. But you've got a wonderful mom, got a wonderful dad, and when dad calls and you see his name, take the call. So that's my advice for you. It is privileged and special to have a dad in the first place. Some people don't have a dad. But also equally so, having a dad that's active, that lives just around the corner, that supports you. So I'm really, really happy for you. And Simon, thank you so much for being with dad. Thank you. And passing on the baton. So thank you everyone. And that's all for this evening. Sean, do you want to say anything before? Great. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Have a lovely evening.